everyone, welcome to Creative Conversations with David and Donna. I am David.
And I'm Donna.
I almost said I'm Donna.
Yeah, well, I have said I'm David before, and I made you delete it.
I don't remember that, but that's funny. Next time we do that, I think we should just go with it. I think it's funny when people screw things up. It's very creative.
Well, we could just do it backwards on purpose.
No, let's just do it right now. Hey, everybody, welcome to Creative Conversations with David and Donna. I'm Donna.
And I'm David. Wait a minute.
An alternate universe.
Yes.
I guess a universe does exist where I'm named Donna and you're David, right?
That would be kind of weird. But hey.
I guess it does exist.
Well, I mean, in the multiverse, everything exists.
Following the multiverse theory, yes, exactly.
Every possibility.
Mm-hmm. So, first thing I want to throw out there is that the past couple of weeks I have been on by the time this comes out, the past couple of weeks I have been on another podcast called the Sciencefictionary, which is hosted by my friends over at the Sciencefictionary.com. I will leave a link in the description to their website. They have their podcast up on Podbean, I believe is where they have it. I think also on iTunes and on YouTube. It's a science fiction podcast. We talk about all things nerdy. You should definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. All things sci-fi and nerdy and cool, comic book, TV, movie related. A lot of things we talk about here, but they really buckle down on the specifics of, like, we're going to talk about science fiction and fantasy and things like that. And also there are a bunch of fellow nerds over there who watch all the same movies and TV shows that I watch and read comic books and fantasy. And
so in other words, they're a lot more like you than I am.
Yes, that's a way to put it. Yeah. Excuse me. And they started a great podcast network. They're starting up a great podcast network full of awesome, great shows. So I will leave a link in the description. Please definitely check it out. It's a great podcast. They're helping us out. We want to help them out.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely should. It's a lot of fun. And their website's great, too. They have articles and all sorts of things. They just write things they want to write. We're probably going to be writing some things that are going to go up there. You can definitely write some Star Trek-related stuff, Donna.
Oh, yeah.
And they will happily put it up there for us. It's a great website. Great people, great friends. It's actually my dad, which is always weird on that podcast because I don't know if I should call him Dad or Daniel because his name's Daniel and everyone else is like, yeah, Daniel. And I'm like, Dan? So I mix it up and it just becomes weird. And then his old friend from back in high school, they've been friends since high school. His name's Andrew and his wife, Marisha. And there's a couple of nerds who want to talk about nerdy things, which there's no better podcast than nerds who want to talk about nerdy things. That was a lot of fun. That week we talked about, I don't know, we're going to record again tomorrow, but last time we recorded we talked about the new Batman suit that was out, which have you seen?
I think I saw that it had been revealed, but I didn't look at it.
Well, do you even give any cares?
You can tell me all about it.
Well, it's cool looking.
I just didn't take the time because I'm usually pretty busy and very selective. But just tell me.
Are you going to go see this Batman movie?
More than likely.
More than likely. It's pretty cool. I mean, Robert Pattinson, you've seen Twilight, right? Yeah. Everyone's seen Twilight.
Well, he was also in Harry Potter.
He was in Harry Potter. I forget that he was in Harry Potter, but that man was in Harry Potter. I'd love to see a Daniel Radcliffe Batman. That'd be fun. I actually said this. Now, this is not a joke. I want to see Daniel Radcliffe play Wolverine. You know Wolverine?
I do. Do you really think he could do it justice?
Yeah, I've seen some fan art of him with some mutton chops, and he has a bit of a smirk, and I'm like, let's see Daniel Radcliffe play Wolverine. Pretty please. That's just a fun little fan casting of mine that I have in mind. But anyway, we talked about the new suit.
Well, tell me what is so unique about this version of the suit.
There seems to be, it's using a lot of armor. It's very heavily inspired by the Arkham games. And the emblem on his chest, the bat emblem, it seems to be made out of the gun that killed his parents. Which he took it apart and used the metal to make the symbol on his chest, which I think is hilarious because that's something totally dark and edgy he would do. Like, I wear it on my chest to remind me. Like, I love that. I think that's hilarious.
So you just saw a picture. There was no explanation. You just came up with that explanation on your own.
Right. Well, it's a big theory. It looks the way the symbol looks. It looks like it's made out of pieces of a gun. You can tell, like, it's alloy metal, and that's just a theory that's been thrown around a lot. And
so why would the conclusion be that it was the gun that killed his parents, and how would he even have access to the gun that killed his parents?
Because he's Batman. That's how he'd get it. But because that's the thing that's always inspired him is it's like his parents died, so everything that he does from that day forward is driven by his parents' death, and the gun that kills him is like a symbol that a gun killed his parents. I don't know how I'd get it. I've actually thought of the same thing, because I'm like, how would he get that? Because I guess it would have to be whenever they catch the criminal who did it, and then it'd be like in police lockup, so he'd have to break into a police station and steal the gun, and then go home and take apart the gun, and then melt the metal into fitting the symbol of a bat, and then put it on his suit. It's a lot of effort.
It is.
But that is why I love it, because that is something totally unnecessary that Batman would do. Batman is a really cool character. I love Batman, but he's kind of a jackass. Okay. And I think, and he's very dramatic. And I love that part of the character that they explore sometimes, where he's just kind of a dramatic asshole. Excuse my language, but like the idea that he would totally do that, go through all that effort to be like, I wear it on my chest to remind me. And it's like, okay, Batman, you really need to see a therapist.
Well, maybe that would be an upcoming episode.
Yeah. An upcoming episode of what?
Well, an upcoming movie.
I hope so. That's a funny idea to me, that if Bruce Wayne would just go see a therapist,
right, he
would not have to be Batman.
So who would play the therapist?
Who would be the therapist? Harleen Quinzel. Harley Quinn. She's actually a therapist. Fun fact.
Really?
You know about Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
She has that new movie out, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which actually was originally called... Did you know the title of it originally?
I think you mentioned it to me.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
No, I did not ever hear that.
Yeah.
There was something about she was supposed to be in a movie with somebody else, and then she got the movie by herself. Wasn't there something like that?
Something like that, probably. She's going to be in Suicide Squad again. So she was in Suicide Squad, and they're making a second Suicide Squad that she's going to be in, and now she's going to be in this Now she's in this Birds of Prey movie, which is out, which bombed horribly. And so that's a weird title, right?
It is.
It's a very weird title. Also, the main character, Harley Quinn, is just mentioned in the subtitle. So after it bombed, Warner Brothers have now changed the name of the movie in theaters. While it's in the middle of being in theaters, they changed the name of the movie to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
So say the original name again.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harleen Quinn.
Harleen.
Her name is Harleen Quinzel. But they call her Harley
why
Quinn.
was that the name?
Because it's... I mean, I actually like the name because it fits the tone of the movie, of this very weird... I mean, that's what it's about, the Birds of Prey, and then they're emancipating Harley Quinn from her toxic boyfriend, the Joker, and it's fantabulous, and the Birds of Prey are helping her do that.
Who are the Birds of Prey?
The Birds of Prey it's a comic book team that is made up of one bird. It's funny they called the Birds of Prey because there's only one bird character in the team, a Black Canary, who is a very famous Green Arrow character, and it kind of became her own character. Actually, that's a little unfair to say, because I think she has a long history of being part of, like, the JLA, the original, like, old Justice League with, like, the old Golden Age characters. But, anyway, you got Black Canary, who's, like, she's a cool ass-kicking girl with blonde hair, and she can punch you, and she's so cool. And you have Oracle, who is Batgirl, who, after Joker shot Batgirl in the back and paralyzed her... No, he didn't shoot her in the back. She shot her in the stomach, but the bullet went through and hit her spine and paralyzed her. So you have Batgirl, and now became Oracle, Barbara Gordon, who sits in a wheelchair and is like, the information person who, like, sits in front of a computer and does things, that kind of person. And then you have the Huntress, who is... originally, she was the alternate universe daughter of Batman and Catwoman, but then they realize they want to use her in the real world, but they don't have a child, so instead she is the daughter of a crime lord, and now she, like, fights crime, like, in spite of her dad, because she has daddy issues. That's kind of her whole character. No offense to the Huntress fans out there, all two of you, but that's who Huntress is.
So these are all together the birds of prey?
Yes, they are the birds of prey.
And how many are there?
Originally there were 3.
Okay.
And it was that many. But then in the movie, there's like 4 or something like that. And Black Canary is in it, but she's not anything like actual Black Canary. Huntress is in it. I don't know if she's anything like actual Huntress. And then they have a couple other characters in there, I think. Barbara Gordon not being one of them. And I think it's funny they're called the Birds of Prey because only one of them has a bird name, the canary. And it's not a bird of prey.
Why are they concerned about emancipating one Harleen Quinn?
So Harley Quinn has never been a part of the Birds of Prey in the comic books, right? But what's going on in this movie is Harley Quinn broke up with the Joker. And so she's going to be her own woman now. And it's the comedy, like a Deadpool tone, like that kind of tone of a character. And that's what Harley Quinn has kind of become. And what happens is now that she broke up with the Joker, there are a lot of other crime lords, including Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, who wants to kill Harley Quinn. Now, this is really funny explaining this to you because comic books are insane. Mm-hmm. And so he wants to kill Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn is like, what if I get you a diamond? Yeah, I'll get you a diamond. I know where one is. And so he's like, okay, sure. And so now she's been set free, but she has to find this diamond for Black Mask so he doesn't kill her.
So she doesn't, in fact, really know where there is a diamond.
I don't. Maybe she does, maybe. Probably not. And so she convinces the Birds of Prey to help her somehow, but that's kind of weird because she's a freaking bad guy who's murdered people, and the Birds of Prey are good guys, but they're going to help Harley Quinn because she's just so quirky and cute. And because they kind of made Harley Quinn like a good guy in the comics now, too, just because of her popularity, because she's become so popular as a character. Who she actually wasn't even in the comic books. Originally, she was part of the Batman animated series. That's where she was first invented, and then she was folded into the comic books. And now they're making a movie about her with the Birds of Prey. I love comic books so much. Because, you have this character who originally was a cartoon character who was folded into the comic books and is now being made with a movie about this group of characters from the comic books that are nothing like the group of characters from the comic books, but they're called the Birds of Prey. And so somehow she convinces the Birds of Prey to help her, and that's what the movie is about.
And so it has bombed terribly.
It bombed, relatively speaking, to every other superhero movie. Yes, it bombed pretty bad. And so they changed the name, and I don't think it's doing much better. But reviews are pretty good. People are saying it's actually pretty good, because it's obviously, this is sort of what DC's been doing, where they just I don't know, sort of the same thing as Joker, but they're like, oh, screw it, screw everything, it all failed, just make whatever movie you want to make. And someone's like, I want to make a Harley Quinn movie. And they come in with this weird, wacky title, which I kind of like, because I like weird, wacky things like that, and people just doing whatever they want. But it was a stupid title. No crap, that bombed. No one's going to know what that even means or is about, And so now it's named what they should have named it from the start, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Or Harley Quinn - Birds of Prey, or whatever. And hopefully it'll do a little bit better. Margot Robbie loves playing that character, and she's going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie, which is being made by James Gunn, who directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and is only directing the Suicide Squad movies because they fired him for making tweets from 10 years ago that weren't even really that offensive, but people got so butthurt about it that they had to fire him. But then they rehired him, but he's like, well, I'm still going to make my Suicide Squad movies, and I was making Suicide Squad 2, then he's going to make Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and in Suicide Squad 2, Harley Quinn's still in it, but they kind of soft rebooted it, and none of it makes any sense, and it's all over none of it makes any sense. It's all thrown. It's like a giant pie of bunch of different ingredients that sometimes taste pretty good. That's what the DC universe is.
So they'll make money. Hopefully, make a lot of money.
Maybe. Hopefully.
They're just throwing stuff out there. Let's see what catches.
Screw it. Yeah, like Joker. Joker did great. Well, speaking of Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. We talked a lot about the Oscars on our last episode, or was it a couple episodes ago?
It was a couple episodes ago.
We talked a lot about
by the way, last episode we said, coming up on 30, and it actually was 30.
Yeah, it was 30.
We were confused.
This is 31.
This is 31.
I've been talking for 14 minutes about Harley Quinn. But anyway, Joker won. Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar for Best Actor for his portrayal of Joker.
Yeah. And we also had made another mistake saying that he had won for Walk the Line, but he hadn't. He won, he was nominated. And nominated, we read about some other movie in 2013 that I don't even know the movie. I can't even remember the name of it.
It was The Master?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
but he never won, so he won. Which,
good for him.
Good for him. I think he definitely deserved it. That is the second time a actor has won for playing the Joker, which is really cool. I talked a lot about that on the podcast I did over at the Sciencefictionary.com, so check that out. But I'll sort of say the same thoughts here. I think it's pretty cool. I think he definitely deserved it. And it's weird that now 2 actors have won that Oscar for playing the Joker, and I was watching an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, and he mentioned that ever since Jack Nicholson played him in the Batman '89 film, that Joker has been this character that attracts these big name actors, and it's a very it's a character that really talented actors want to get a hold of and see what they can do with it, and that's why it's such an Oscar bait kind of thing, because you have a great actor, Heath Ledger, who I love. Heath Ledger, like so much, not even just for his portrayal of Joker, but one of the best actors of this generation that was so sadly taken too soon, because he was incredible. Have you ever seen what's it called? Is it What I Hate About You?
10 Things I Hate About
10
You.
Things I Hate About You.
I showed you that. You were in my class when I showed that movie.
Now you keep telling me that.
I'm almost positive.
I don't think... I remember seeing it with my dad. I don't remember seeing that movie in your class.
You did.
Did I?
You did, because we read Taming of the Shrew, and I taught it, and we talked all
about
it. We did
Taming
scenes from it.
Now, Taming of the Shrew, that was the one where, like, these, like, two... That was, like, the guy who, like, studies voices or whatever, right?
Mm-mm.
No, which one was that?
That's My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
Or Pygmalion.
Well, that one can almost be... You could see why I would think that about... About you though, because you have this like rambunctious like crazy woman that these 2 people take and like sort of turn into like
I guess
person
that's
a date.
The more updated version
Taming
of that is Pretty
now,
Woman.
When did we
did that in speech?
Woman,
okay, when we were at Live Oak, that's how I remember so specifically, because we were at Live Oak when we read that play, because I had copies of it. I didn't have much else because I had everything else had flooded, and we read the play and we did scenes from it, and then I said, I have a surprise for y'all one day, and I just put the movie on, and y'all liked the movie, and after y'all had started watching it for a while, it was like, wait a minute, because all the names are the names from Taming of the Shrew, and I mean, I can promise you we did watch it at Live Oak. So, the backstory...
Maybe I was absent that day.
I don't know, but backstory for me and David, we, the first year I taught David was when he was a junior, and that was the year that we had the flood in our area, and our whole school had to relocate to another school. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But beside the point, I do remember that I showed that because it was a break for me to actually be able to show a movie and just kind of sit and just, and I remember doing it. I usually show Taming of the Shrew. I mean, I usually show 10 Things I Hate About You anytime I teach Taming of the Shrew. It's nice to see all the tie-ins, especially to people who don't realize that it is based completely on that and all the different little tie-ins and jokes, and it's a lot of fun.
Who is Taming of the Shrew? Is that a Shakespeare thing?
It's Shakespeare.
That's what I thought, yeah. Okay, I am going to 50%. I'm going to believe that you definitely showed speech that, but 50% of me thinks I was absent or something, because I just don't remember it. I just don't. I remember seeing, but point is, Heath Ledger is phenomenal in that movie. He's great in A Knight's Tale. Have you seen A Knight's Tale? So much fun. I love him so much. When I play D&D, the character I play right now, I had my girlfriend draw a picture of him, and I said, make him look like Heath Ledger, because that's just what I imagine him as. So I'm so happy that Heath Ledger won an Oscar for that, and I am so happy for Joaquin. I think Joaquin even said, I'm standing on the shoulders of my favorite actor, Heath Ledger, which is real wholesome and nice. But then also in the same speech, he said that we're all bad people for drinking milk. So, you take the good with the bad.
I was going to say, that particular acceptance speech was odd.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of actors do that.
It's his platform. It's his platform. You just get up there and say...
And respect for him for using his platform to say what he wants to say. I believe Leonardo DiCaprio said whenever he won, he made a whole thing about climate change. he said that like we had to go to Antarctica or something like that to find snow. I don't think that's true, but okay, because it snowed in Louisiana one year. Climate change is obviously, but that was like, okay, Leo, sure you did. I'm sure you had to go. That's where you had to go to find snow, but right, he used his platform for that. But that was a little bit like, okay, Joaquin, as I drank my glass of milk and eat my cereal, like, okay, I'm sorry, I feel bad, not,
I mean, he made good points. He really did. and it is unusual and this is way off topic of what we're saying.
That's why I think we paused for a second.
Yeah, but seriously though, we are the only mammal that drinks another mammal's milk.
That is true.
It's very unusual.
It is very unusual.
It's a huge business and we're used to it, and we've been pumped all our lives with how good it is for you and build your bones and need it for calcium and
I love a good cereal though, dude.
It would be impossible to imagine eating cereal if we didn't have milk.
I mean, I've eaten dry cereal. You eat dry cereal?
I
what are we talking about?
It's a creative
So
conversation.
anyway, Harley Quinn.
Actually, we can switch to the Oscars now if you'd like.
Oh yeah, we should switch to the Oscars because we started talking about Joaquin Phoenix winning that Oscar.
Best actress that I should know off the top of my head, but I don't. Who won Best Actress?
I don't remember, but we can talk about who won Best Supporting Actress, which you had talked about and was very much wanted to win when you were talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Laura Dern. I was very happy for her.
Won for Marriage Story, right? Yeah, she won for Marriage Story. Parasite won Best Picture. Have you seen Parasite?
I have not, so I was wondering if you had.
I had not seen Parasite, but apparently it's phenomenal when it's about...
Well, I mean, it must be because it won all this, and everybody who announced every award looked at the card before they said it with complete bewilderment, like, okay, so Parasite? So go ahead and tell me what you know about it, because
It's a foreign film, which also it won Best Foreign Film. I think it's from Korea, I think, and it is about the class system and the insane separation of wealth in the world. That's all I know about it, but apparently it is phenomenal. And I watched a cooking video about Parasite where basically, like, apparently at some point in the movie, these really rich family takes like these instant like ramen noodles and they put the most expensive steak in the world on it, and it's just sort of like a waste of ingredients of the steak, but they're able to do it because they're just so rich, and it's supposed to be like that's like to represent how like these people eating instant noodles with the greatest steak in the world, and it's like it's like a WTF moment, because then you have the poor family who's having to eat the instant noodles as they are with the instant noodles, and it's like, what the heck. So that's all I really know about it, but apparently it's phenomenal, and I would like to see it eventually.
I think I would too.
Just because it won all the awards. Everyone says it's incredible.
I wonder if the director went out and got drunk. He said it in every speech he got up there.
What?
He had a interpreter, and at the end of every speech he said, "I go drink now," or something like that. Well, I really go drink now. Whatever he said, it was because he would say whatever he said, and then the interpreter would say, and it was back and forth and back and forth. But at the end, he would say, "Thank you, I go drink now," or something. and he won all those in a row. You know,
that's really funny.
It was funny.
So good for them. Apparently, it deserved it because most of the years of the Oscars, people were like really upset about things. People were like, "How could this dare win?" But not this year. I didn't see a whole lot of that this year.
I didn't really either, but I just can tell you just from watching the ceremony itself, it shocked. Like Jane Fonda was the one that read the card for Best Movie of the Year, and she opened it and went, her eyes got big. And I knew when she did that, I'm like, it's Parasite, because I think it just shocked the crap out of her. I think just in general, like, I don't know. I would have to know a whole lot more about that movie, because I really had never even heard of it, honestly, before the Oscars.
I actually hadn't either before that, or like the Golden Globes. I never even heard of it. I think it's still in theaters, though. So it's pretty new. Did you look up who won Best Actress?
I did. It was Renee, and I should have known that. Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Wait,
Renee
what?
Zellweger.
Zellweger.
For Judy. She played Judy Garland in the movie Judy.
Oh, cool. I did not. Have we talked about that before?
I think we mentioned it when we were doing our last podcast about the Oscars, but I knew I had heard about it, and after she won, or after I saw her on the red carpet, and I don't like sit and watch the entire Oscar ceremony, so I came in my room and looked up her singing some of the songs from the movie and just how she looked, and compared her to how Judy actually looked, and from what I could tell, it was a spot on performance, and just
that's cool.
Wow! So I was happy for her for winning.
Good for that.
I've always liked Renee. I think she's a really good actress.
I think that I don't mean to I'm not sure who that is, so I don't mean to instantly
Did you ever
change.
Bridget Jones' Diary? Have you ever heard of those movies?
No.
All right, so she's just an actress. You're not in that circle.
But good for her.
Yeah.
I'm glad for her. I believe Brad Pitt won Best
he did.
Supporting
Now you can tell
Actor.
me, because he didn't have as big a role as Leo DiCaprio, but didn't Leo also get nominated?
Leo got nominated for Best Actor. Yeah.
Right. So if it were up to you, do you think that they had a equal role, or do you?
I think they had an equal role, but I think that it makes perfect sense why Brad is supporting and Leo is
because of the storyline.
Just because of the story because of the storyline. I don't remember. I think they had probably about equal amount of screen time, but Leonardo DiCaprio's character was obviously like the main character of the movie. But at the same time, the way most Tarantino movies are shot, there is no main character, so you kind of have to interpret it. I think it's fair to say that Leonardo DiCaprio was the main actor, because Brad Pitt's entire character exists to support Leonardo's character, so that makes perfect sense to me.
Because he won supporting actor,
which I think is great. I mean, obviously, I didn't see every single movie that was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but I did see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Brad Pitt did a incredible job in that movie. I loved him so much, and I'm happy to see. I was very happy to see him win that Oscar. I didn't watch the Oscars. Did you watch the Oscars?
I watched some of them at the end.
All I did was follow it on social media as it was happening. So as things were happening, because I just wanted to know if Joaquin was going to win for Joker. Yeah, because I was like, woo, we did it. But Brad Pitt was amazing, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really enjoy his character. Cliff Booth is one of my favorite Tarantino characters now, and Tarantino is one of my favorite directors. I love Quentin Tarantino movies. I've seen Pulp Fiction, no exaggeration, at least 20 times.
Yeah, a lot of people watch that movie a lot.
I love Pulp Fiction. It introduced me into what a film could be as more than just a superhero thing. Like, before that, I kind of only knew it as like Power Rangers and superheroes, you know? I never knew what to expect out of filmmaking until I watched Pulp Fiction. I'm like, oh, you can do this with a movie? I have a big Pulp Fiction poster hanging above my bed. The one with Uma Thurman, she's smoking, and like, I just love that movie so much. So I love Quentin Tarantino. So I was happy to see him make another great movie and it show up at the Oscars, and for Brad Pitt to win. Has Brad Pitt won an Oscar before?
That. He got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in 1996 for 12 Monkeys. Okay. Nominated for Best Actor in 2009 for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. 2012 for Moneyball. 2016 for Best Picture, The Big Short. So I guess he was a producer. He won as Best Picture, so he must have been a producer for 12 Years a Slave. That was in 2014. So this is the first Oscar he's won for an actor, or as an actor.
It's about freaking time.
Well, I mean, he's one of the big names.
He is one of the big, and I think he kind of gets forgotten about as being a great actor because he's such a movie star. Yeah. But he is a great actor, first and foremost. I mean, I can't think of a bad thing he's been in. He's great with Quentin Tarantino, and Glorious Bastards is just hilarious. I love him in that. He's done amazing things like in Benjamin Button and Fight Club. He really is an incredible actor. So I'm very, very happy to see that he won this Oscar. I think he definitely deserved it for his performance as Cliff Booth, because I'm so like in tune with filmmaking and movies that I do often find it difficult to watch a movie and not think of the character as just the actor who's playing him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, it's Brad Pitt. But when I was watching this movie, I Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt both really captured the character perfectly and immersed me in it and had me fully buy into it. And I could tell Brad Pitt was having a ton of fun playing that character who beats up Bruce Lee. Which, by the way, apparently like Bruce Lee's daughter was very upset that was in the film. Have we talked about that? How there's this whole scene.
I knew about the scene, but not that she was upset about it.
Right. Apparently she was very upset because, like, obviously that would not happen. But, like, it's a movie. It is there clearly as a plot device to establish that Cliff Booth is a absolute gangster, and you do not want to mess with him.
And it's also a complete alternate universe.
So, exactly, and that's the thing. It's an alternate universe. And at first, I had the same reaction where I was like, "What the frick is this? Are you serious? This is stupid." But then later, when you see that he beats up these, we just absolutely destroyed these cult members, you realize, oh, that whole thing with Bruce Lee was in there to establish that, and then you get I have an appreciation for the writing of that. We've written plays where we have to
gotta make sure that makes sense.
We gotta make sure that makes sense. So let's go back and write a whole new scene where we establish that this person really likes ice cream. So later when they buy the ice cream, we know, they really like ice cream. It's like that. But great movie. Great job for Brad Pitt. Any other notable Oscar winners?
Well, I was just going to comment about Leo because you were talking about it. It was about time for Brad to get an award. Because was it last year or year before the fan base just went nuts about Leo not getting an Academy?
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so they had, I thought, decided that after Leo they were going to rally or whatever for Johnny Depp. Because I don't know, let me look that up, how many Oscars Johnny's even been nominated for.
Well, for the past couple of years, he hasn't been in much because his career was ruined by his ex-wife who lied. Which I don't like bringing in opinions and things like that usually.
Right.
But and talking about this sort of thing. Because there's been many opportunities where we could talk about like drama, like Jeremy Renner or any of the other actors who go through drama. But this one is pretty straightforward because there's straight up audiobooks. I mean, not audiobooks, but audio logs of Amber Heard lied, and she admitted it. So it's pretty straightforward and clear to say, oh, so this is what happened. And so that's a whole other topic that we can get into in a second. But
yeah, let me just say real quick. He was nominated 3 times for Best Actor. 2004, Pirates of the Caribbean. 2005, Finding Neverland. And 2008, Sweeney Todd. So since then, since 2008, he doesn't have any other Academy Award nominations. But, I mean, he is always in something. And I've watched him. I mean, he's just so recognizable. But he played, what was the gangster movie he was in? And I mean, I didn't even know.
Recently? Or?
No, it was a few years ago. I don't even remember the name of the person he played. But, I mean, they made him bald.
Black Mass.
Was that what
it was? Black Mass, yeah, okay. I remember.
Because it was like, that's Johnny Depp. Like, I didn't even know it was him. So he can totally transform himself. And actually, completely off topic, but the other day my daughter Amelia and I were just trying to find something to watch on Netflix. You know, you do, you can look for as long as you'd watch a movie. And I'm like, well, look, that's Gilbert Grape. Have you ever seen that? And she's like, no. So we clicked on that.
That's eating Gilbert Grape.
You've seen this? All right. So young Johnny and Leo.
Leo.
And it was just like,
I know.
You couldn't even believe it was either one of them. And I mean, Leo DiCaprio playing the special child like he did was just so believable. And then just Johnny, just the way his mannerisms, and he was so much younger. And
it's such an emotional movie just because of the way that they played the character. Like I love it just because of those two and their performance. And you're right. Like actually, when I first saw that, it took me a second to be like, wait, that's Johnny Depp. I recognized Leo, right? But I was like, wait, Johnny? And also because most of the stuff you see him in, he's so transformed and looks so different. I don't think he's going to be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Is that right?
Right, but I think the reason for that is because when they started filming it, or started like getting it ready to go, is when all the stuff with Amber Heard happened, where she accused him of the abuse, and maybe some justice can get changed for that now that the sort of truth is out.
Well, would they have another Jack Sparrow actor, or would they just do a movie?
I think they would just do it without Jack Sparrow.
I was going to say, how could
the entire franchise, yeah. The only reason because like after that first, it's a total gimmick movie, right? It's a movie based off of a ride at Disneyland, right? But what made that movie work was Jack Sparrow. And after that, I cannot think of a single reason to watch those movies except for Jack Sparrow. Like, what's even the point? No, do you even remember the character that Orlando Bloom plays?
Not really.
No, I can't. I think his name is Jack or something. I don't know.
It's funny, Jack. Is it Jack?
Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
But, I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Johnny Depp when he told the director, let me do this. I know how to do this. And that when he first started playing the character the way he does, there was a whole lot of raised eyebrows, like, oh no. But he just in his mind and heart understood this is how to play this character, and it's just been phenomenally successful.
And what a great lesson that actors can learn from that. Any actor in any like level, from high school theater to movie star, of like, when you have the confidence in that character and to say, like, I know what I'm doing. Because nobody knows the characters better than the person playing them. There's a lot of stuff I've seen where, like, people play actors play characters for years and years and years on a TV show, and what always ends up happening is that actor becomes a producer because they want more say in what's going to happen, because they just understand these characters. And Johnny Depp's such a great actor that he instantly was able to understand exactly what it is he wanted to do with Jack Sparrow, and he knew it would work. I often don't associate Johnny Depp with being a great actor, and that's kind of a weird sentence to say, but I think it's because he's a very compelling actor, because, and I don't think this happens too often, he's had as many WTF, what is this roles, and bad roles as he has good ones.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? Like, that's... Some people love that. I think it's bizarre, and it doesn't work for me at all. Like, it doesn't work for me.
Strange.
It don't work for me, Chief.
Yeah.
And a couple other things he's done where I'm just like, I'm going to need you to... Because sometimes but he gets into every single thing he does, and best thing about Johnny Depp, he always swings for the fences. He's never phoning it in,
Yeah, I hear that.
And sometimes you swing and you miss.
Yeah, that's true.
But
especially when you're swinging with that much effort, so yeah.
Right, as the great Michael Scott once said, you miss every shot you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
Michael Scott, yeah. You haven't really seen The Office? Do you understand?
I understand that is a quote from
Michael Jordan.
Is it? Well, actually, Wayne Gretzky is a
hockey player.
And he talks about you miss every whatever. What do you call it in
swing shot? I guess it's a shot.
You gotta look it up.
I don't know, but no, the quote comes from Michael Jordan.
I'm not sure. I think I've always heard that from Wayne Gretzky.
I am gonna bet my life on it that the quote comes from Michael Jordan. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But in The Office, Michael Scott says that, and it says that Wayne Gretzky said it. So then it's the quote from Michael Scott that Wayne Gretzky said it. No, it's Michael Jordan.
Well, we'll look it up. Anyway, talk about something. Oh my goodness gracious!
Sorry, headphone users. I just saw this on the audio recording. I saw the spike. Oh, that's funny. What else is going on in the world of entertainment? What? Oh. Benjamin Hardy.
No, this part. Look.
Oh, I see that. Okay, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, it says, "Who said you miss every shot you don't take?" And underneath it.
Okay, Wayne Gretzky. The problem was, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. In other words, you can't.
I'm telling you, I've always heard that credited to Wayne Gretzky my whole life. I'm really serious.
Wait a minute. Maybe I got it wrong. Or Michael Jordan.
Maybe he said Michael Jordan said it, but that's a Wayne. That's a famous Wayne Gretzky quote.
This is a hot debate here.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Jordan always worked really hard, and he probably, at whatever age he is now, could take just about any high school player who thinks they're hot stuff. But Wayne Gretzky was phenomenal at hockey, and I've always heard that from him. My whole life.
Yeah, this is. Now because I'm seeing that Michael Jordan said it.
I mean, maybe he said something similar, but I think Wayne Gretzky was the person who said it.
Okay.
And made it famous.
Maybe. Let me see. Because now I'm seeing so many things. Okay. This is a hot debate here. I'm just going to look up. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
100% is a different quote. So if you...
I'm thinking of... I meant to say 100% of the shots you don't take.
Okay, well, that could be Michael Jordan. But it's just that Wayne Gretzky said something very similar, so...
Okay, here's the joke then. Now I understand. This is the picture. This is the thing from The Office. Okay. Right? So, that is the thing from The Office. Mm-hmm. That Michael Scott wrote. I'm showing her the picture. So I guess the joke is Wayne Gretzky said, you miss every shot you don't take.
Okay.
Michael Jordan said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And then Michael Scott said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And then
Incredible.
claimed that Wayne Gretzky said it. So that's the joke. We solved the whole mystery here on this episode 31 of Creative Conversations of David and Donna.
It's, wow.
Anyway, so something I wanted to talk about. We've been doing some work, and we've been writing some. So we have a Fiverr, and we would love if you guys checked out our Fiverr and maybe hired us to write things for you. That's what we want to do. And also, don't forget to go check out all of our other videos and podcasts that we do. If you just go give some videos a like, it'll really help us out.
Oh, definitely.
Give the video you're watching right now, just give it a like. That's all we ask. Give it a like, give it a comment, tell us what your thoughts is. It'll really help us out. We'd very much appreciate it. And Donna, I think I'm going to record some cooking videos coming up.
I think you should.
I think I should, because what?
I was going to say, you've been really getting into cooking for the past, month, I think?
I've been really getting into cooking. Yeah, I've been like, and my friends, we're going to have, I've been like flexing on them. Like, I send them pictures like, oh, I made this today. And they're like, yeah, we get it. And Andrew, my pal, he used to cook a lot. He wanted to be a chef for a long time. So we've been having some debates, and we're going to have an epic cook-off.
Oh.
And I will definitely record that. So that's coming up if you want to see some cook-offs, some fun stuff. I'm gonna cook the best pasta in the world. You know Chef, right? I've talked a lot about Chef, the best movie ever. There's a sex scene in Chef. Have I told you about this yet?
I don't think so.
I call this the best sex scene in movie history. Here's the whole scene, right? So Scarlett Johansson's in the movie, and her and Jon Favreau, my love of my life, the director and the star of the movie, they're drinking beer. And he whispers in her ear, let me cook for you. And then they go back to his apartment, and she lays in the bed in her underwear and just stares at him in this kid. It's like a one-bedroom apartment, right? So he's cooking, and he cooks her these noodles. And then she eats the noodles and stares at him while she eats the noodles. And that's the end of the scene. And I call it, I'm 100% I am convinced that is meant to be interpreted as a sex scene, and I will stick to that. So that's how I interpret it. Do you understand why I do?
You can feel free to explain, David.
Because it's totally it's like a sex scene, but for chefs, like food. Everything's about food. Chefs love food, and he says, "Let me cook for you." You know, he gets all whispers in her ear, and instead of saying, "Let's go back to my room," he says, "Let me cook for you." This is for Jon Favreau. This is sex, and so he cooks for her. So that's called Scarlett's pasta, is what he calls it. And I've been making some Scarlett's pasta. Oh. And I've gotten real good at making Scarlett's pasta. So oh man. I just realized, I'm about to say, so I'm going to make Scarlett's pasta for my friends. But I just realized that I explained that making that food is a sex scene.
Well.
But I'm just, they don't have to eat it in their underwear. They just got to eat it.
I was going to say, there are different elements involved here. You're not whispering in their ear. And,
let me cook for you, yeah. Yes. I'm more shouting, I'm going to cook for you.
Yeah, and saying, I'm going to make sure I cook something pasta. Better.
Yeah. But I love Chef so much, and that's actually what started this whole thing. If you remember the chocolate molten lava cake.
Well, that was your first performance in my class.
Right, yeah. Right, but that was the first thing I did. Mm-hmm. That was a performance, was screaming about the chocolate molten lava cake, which I have learned how to make, and I plan on I know how to make a ganache now. So I'm gonna make you a chocolate lava cake one day.
Well, I think you should, bring me a lavender whatever kind of coffee.
A lavender vanilla latte.
Well, I actually we have Alex that we interviewed on the show is still one of my students right now, and he went to Bitter and Sweet yesterday. I have still never been to Bitter and Sweet where David works. So one of these days I need to just do that. So we'll have to figure out when your schedule is, and maybe after school one day I'll just drive the opposite direction instead of I would happily
make you a lavender vanilla latte. That stuff's good. If you're in the Watson area, come get I love making. I found I think making espresso is what has led me to cooking, because just making things and the art and the performance that gets put into that, it's very similar to acting, I've actually found, and it's an art, and sitting as directing, it's I've directed a lot of stuff and created lots of videos, and edited them and acted in them, and I found that it's very similar of a mindset and a process. And like just today, I went to Walmart and just picked up some random ingredients. I was like, I could use some parsley. I have no idea what I'm gonna make with that. I was like, I could use some, and like it's like 89 cents for some parsley, right? So I just went and got that, and that's like casting. You know, you go get the ingredients, and then you're cooking it, you're directing the whole thing, and then boom, you put it in front of somebody. That's the performance. And also, there's some performance when it comes to actually cooking it.
Oh, and the spicing, you know, like adding the flavor to the character.
Adding the flavor, right. And that's and it's a lot of fun to do that. So I think Robert Rodriguez is a director, and he was actually on the Chef Show with Jon Favreau, and he told this whole thing about how whenever he's on set and he's directing, he makes his actors paint. And he makes them cook, and because Robert Rodriguez is a huge like chef, like he's really into cooking and being a chef. He loves it. He loves painting. He loves to do music making. He makes them learn an instrument on set. He makes them do all these things because whenever they're not acting, he wants them to constantly be doing something
creative.
that is creative and different. And he wants them to stay creative, and cooking is a big part of that. So we're gonna have a show, Stay Creative Cooking. I made a whole thing about making a grilled cheese. But I just, some complicated stuff with the iPhone, and I've recorded it on my iPhone, and the certain setting after a certain update made the iPhone videos incompatible with being edited on computers, so blah, 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 couldn't upload it. But maybe one day I'll figure that out. But, we'll have some cooking stuff, and I think it's a really cool thing that I've always remembered that Robert Rodriguez said that like, you cook and you, because he's the, you know, super rich. He never has to cook again a day in his life, but he wants to, and it's like directing for him, and the actors find they say that they find like a new piece of their character they didn't find until they painted something about they paint their character and they find this new thing, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, I think that's amazing.
And so now we know that in your theater class, everyone should paint.
Well, that was actually, see, once again, as you read my mind and lead me to my next thought, I was heading to my theater class next because you keep talking about, I'm writing this stuff, I'm going to make this new thing, I'm cooking, and David just has all these new ventures, and I'm very much sticking to what I have always done. And, 31 years, you kind of get in your habit and your routine. And I do enjoy the new stuff that we're doing together, and I do want to do more writing and contributing to the website and everything else. But I feel like that will come because I will have my time. My time right now is finishing out my career and being as dedicated to it as I have always been. So at this point, the characters I'm working on are from the play I've talked about several times, the updated Romeo and Juliet to River and Juliana, which is in the 60s. So the last at least 3 weekends, I have been thrift shopping for hours, trying to make sure everybody in the play has not only an outfit to wear, but the play covers a time span of 2 weeks. So some of the characters need 6 to 7 outfits each, and they all have to look 60s. So it's been interesting. So it's, in a way, the characters, like getting their clothes is helping them define their character, because I find when you're on stage and you put your costume on, it has a whole lot to do with how you move and react and respond. And this is the first play I think I've ever done that has such specific costumes, because we've even when I was at my other school, our plays a lot of times required just normal, like just make sure you have enough different outfits, for a student, and it would be present day, and it would just. I mean, we did Vlad and Alex last semester, so we had to have the monster costumes. But everybody else in the whole play, just whatever you feel like wearing to look like a teenager or to look like a teacher or whatever. So this play, because it's a different time period, like every actor and actress, every scene has to look 60s. And in fact, I was on my way home today, and I realized that there was part of the play where 2 of the hippie girls are supposed to dress like they're not hippies, and I had not even thought of that. So I've got to get that costume or those costumes together. It's like I keep thinking of one more thing, like, wow, that just kind of snuck up on me, and I wrote it still. So my creative outlet is right now still my job.
Yeah,
so
another play. It feels like it was just yesterday we were talking about, can't wait for Vlad and Alex. It really does. Like, can't wait for Vlad and Alex, and now it's like, oh, they got another one coming up, and I think that's still contributes very heavily to what we're doing here. Just anything you do, period, it's still driving forward the goal that we have of just staying creative and doing more. And
Right.
I've learned a lot of lessons in life lately, and one of them is to constantly be trying to do something. I think that's why I've gotten into cooking, and I think that's why I spend a lot of my days now leaving my house. Even if I have nowhere to go, I leave my house and go somewhere, anywhere. I go to the local gaming store, not like a video game, but like gaming, like tabletop gaming, and because they have tables there where and that's a great place. That's something that I think is amazing. Where like I go to this local gaming store called Gamers Paradise, and it's all about D&D and other tabletop games. And the whole store, they have like stuff for sale, but the very large majority of the store is just really big tables everywhere, so people can sit down and either play or they can paint their minis, which I've been trying to do some lately. I've been painting some minis, which I'll make some videos on. I should make videos on painting minis.
Right. And you said you and Andre might make videos about the storylines,
the stories that just telling funny things that happened in D&D, in our D&D stories, and so I love going to that place and just being around, just like walking around and looking at the stuff. Or I go to the library and I sit down at the library and I watch. Even if I'm watching Netflix, I go watch it at the library. It's just different, and you get away from different stresses about your life. Especially, I love my dog with all my heart. My dog is the most stressful dog in the whole world. So some days I'm like, I take care of him, make sure he's well fed, we go on walks. But then I'm like, okay, pal, you stay right there with your toys and the couch, and I'm gonna go over here now because he's a puppy still, so he needs a lot of attention. So I'm like, I'm going to go to... And I give him plenty of attention. Do not get me wrong. This dog is more attention than he could ever use in his life. Because whenever I'm home, which is still a large majority of my time, there is never a time when I am home that he is not sitting on my lap. And he's 70 pounds. He's a 70-pound pit bull. He's a big dog, but he still thinks he's a little lap dog. So he's all over me. But because of that, I can't exactly put my laptop on my lap and write. Or I can, but then he wants to climb up on top of my laptop and see what's going on, And it's a touchscreen laptop, so he gets his nose a little too close, and then all of a sudden we're on we're clicking those ads that we shouldn't click that give us viruses. So
yeah, that happens. Yeah.
It does, yeah. So he's a big goofy dog. I'll make videos about me going to the dog park with him. That'd be cute. He has a cute face. Dog videos, that'll get him. Oh, yeah. That'll reel in the subscribers.
That's it. I watch dog videos.
I watch dog videos too. Yes, I don't watch cat videos. I don't like cats.
I watch both.
I don't like cats.
I bet there would be a cat somewhere in the world that you could like.
I do enjoy... My friends have a cat. Logan and Victoria, they have a pet cat, and she's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind them. The cats can sometimes be pretty chill. But overall, I'm a dog dude. 100%. You're a guinea pig woman.
Well, I am now, but I grew up with cats. My family always had cats, and then they would have kittens, and then we wouldn't always give them all away, but we had inside cats. I don't have inside animals here except guinea pigs because my husband is allergic to cats and dogs, and even though I had children who grew up begging for pets, we just weren't going to have inside animals, even if my husband had not been. Growing up, there was always cat hair everywhere, and I slept with a cat on my bed my entire life growing up, and I had just made the decision before I left my dad's home. I'm like, I'm not going to have cats in my home.
100% understand it. And I do miss the not having to wash my sheets every couple days. And washing them once. Now I'm washing them every 2 days because I don't want to always... Do I smell like dog to you, Donna?
No, I
didn't mean to ask.
Did not notice that.
And I take very big precautions to make sure because I'm like, okay, I have to make sure that I am... constantly... Which also, I used to bathe my dogs once a week. I learned that you shouldn't do that. For some reason, something with their skin, you don't want to get dry skin. Yeah. So, but I used to constantly but I totally get what you're saying. 100%. That's always been a thing, and that's a very different way to kind of live life. Just having a dog and we always had we had a Shih Tzu who does not shed and is very small and chill and does not make a difference in your life at all, pretty much. Socks is definitely not that. He's a big pit bull who has hair everywhere and he slobbers all over the place and is really gross. And I make big precautions, and me and my mother take big steps to make sure our house is not disgusting. And that gets in the way of my creative process, which is why I've learned to just go places. And so my advice to you, world, go to a cool gaming store.
Yes, or to the library.
Or to the library, or to a coffee shop. Bitter and sweet coffee and froyo. I don't like going to Starbucks. I feel like a pretentious jerk going to Starbucks.
Wow.
Like, I'm just joking.
Okay,
But like that's because that's the thing that people do is that they go to Starbucks and they get their cafe latte, mocha frappe, Cheeto, a Barack Obama latte or whatever, you know, and it's like, and they sit down and they're just like, yes, I am, but then they just play on their phone most of the time anyway, right? But I do go to Starbucks. I am guilty. I go to Starbucks. I love a good Starbucks drink. I know all about like espresso drinks, right? I am infuriated that a macchiato at Starbucks is not a macchiato at all. Fun fact.
Okay, let's hear about this because I don't know what this means.
So if you order a macchiato at Starbucks, they just give you a freaking latte, or it's like a macchiato is espresso with a little dollop of cream. That's what a macchiato is.
Okay.
At Starbucks, if you order a macchiato, you do not get that. You get like a latte or whatever with like tons of caramel and flavoring, and you get the milk in there, and it's not a macchiato. God dang it! And amongst coffee aficionados such as myself, it's an infuriating topic on the Reddits. Let me tell you, when you go on like on Reddit subpages about coffee makers, they're like, screw Starbucks. Because that's not what it is. But
so what about other coffee shops? Does community coffee, CC's, do they make a macchiato correctly?
I have never had a CC's macchiato,
CC's?
so I would not know.
Okay.
All I know is that I make a macchiato correctly. So if you want a real macchiato, come to Bitter and Sweet Coffee and Froyo. Don't come when I'm there, because I don't want you to, but because I want to be. There's actually a thing I've been dealing with. You know, we can say that's a positive conversations topic, is how to stay positive at work, because I've had some real struggle with that lately.
All right.
So if you want to hear more about that, and check out our positive conversations, which will already be out by the time you're listening to this one, go check out our positive conversations. Check out all of them. Leave those a like too. Please do. Those are fun. They're 20 minutes long of just whatever topic we want to talk about. Recently we talked about
my birthday.
Your birthday. Yeah.
My love birthday.
We talked about your birthday. We've talked about wait, did you say my love birthday?
Yeah, love. Remember we talked about
LV.
Yeah,
LV.
My Roman numerals.
Because Roman numerals.
55,
that's right.
LV.
Love. 55. Wow. You know what's really cool about 55?
Nope.
The people.
Go ahead.
That's funny. 55 is that there's still lots of life to live.
Absolutely.
And that's something we talked about.
Well, like I said, 55 is just how old I am. That's just
right.
my age.
And it's, what's the average? What's the average?
I don't go by averages. I
80,
feel like my grandmother lived to be 94, so I got.
Let's just say you were to die at 95. That is 40 more years.
I'm telling you.
By the time that happens, I'd be 60.
Isn't that crazy?
I would be older than you are now.
Wow, see?
And
That's right.
and that puts things in perspective. I actually have thought about that, because we run this business, right? And like, no offense, but realistically, like,
I will
on
be
average,
out of it before you are. Yes.
And that's not 100% guaranteed, but like on
I
average,
know exactly.
And I'm gonna be like, thanks for leaving me alone, Donna. I guess I'll do this all by my freaking self then. Thank you.
Well, then by that time you'll be the age I was when we started.
Right,
so
and I'll recruit one.
Yeah,
I'll recruit a new me. It's like Batman and Robin.
Right.
It's like Batman's Robins keep dying, and he keeps recruiting more. At a certain point, you should stop.
Good point.
I'm just throwing that out there for all you, for Batman. If you're listening, stop it.
Yes. So I was 54 when we started the business. So you have quite a ways to go to get to 54.
Yeah.
So when you do, though, you have to go find a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Because I was already 19 when we started.
So,
I was already 19, yeah. Or maybe you'll get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Or you could as well.
Or I could as well.
And then
would you find a new one?
I don't know what I would do.
That is not a conversation for this podcast.
No, it is not. It is not. So I'm looking at coming up on our hour, so we need to find our closing thoughts.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Donna?
This last several creative conversation podcasts, we just kind of have talked about whatever, because it was kind of our idea to have just whatever comes out of our brain, because David and I talk about everything. We actually had talked for an hour before the podcast.
Right.
So I feel like it'd be nice to do some more interviews. I want to try to get one of my former students. It's not really the direction as much as I enjoy doing the interviews, and we haven't done one in a while, but it's just we've both been so crazy busy and trying to figure out when we can see each other to record, and then also find a time to meet somebody else to come in and record with us. So I would like to do that. And I do have to say, today's Wednesday, and David and I normally record on Sundays, so we just have to work around each other's crazy life because he had a very, very busy time, and this was the first day he could get just to my house to record. So it's just been wonderful, though, to look back at number 31 and say, wow, we have not let this drop since June. That's, I guess, my closing thought, that I'm still very proud that we're keeping it up.
Me as well. And we've done a lot more. We've done some stuff with our Fiverr, which... those are gonna be my closing thoughts, is all that kind of stuff. Or please go check out our Fiverr. The link's always in the description. We would definitely love to help you and write for you. And also, if you just have an idea, message us on our email at David and Donna at...
Is it David and Donna?
I think it's David and Donna Creative at gmail.com. Message us there with just some ideas you might have. Matthew has talked to me recently, said that he wants me to help him write a short film for a contest he wants to do. I forgot to mention that to you. So that's what we want to do with this business, is to do that. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but don't forget to go check out the podcast, the Sciencefictionary, over on Podbean. You can look at the Sciencefictionary, or the links will be in the description. You can go to the website. I believe it's also on iTunes, and it is on YouTube, the Sciencefictionary Podcast, the Sciencefictionary.com. There's also their Star Wars podcast, Coruscant Radio Underground. I've been on that podcast a few times, but not very often. But I hopefully we'll get back on that soon enough. So go check those guys out. They're really cool dudes. Just nerds who like talking about stuff, which, like I said, makes up the best podcast.
I feel like that's what we do.
That's what we do. We're a bunch of nerds who talk about stuff.
About nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff, that's right.
But we have a little bit slight angle with our creative. It's creative.
I think we do have a slight angle. Right. Yes. We have our own spin. There's a reason to listen. So everybody listen to every single one of our podcasts.
Yes.
And give it a like and give it a comment. Tell your friends. Give it a subscribe. Hit the notification bell. There's so many things you can say that's like, do this, and this. But you know what? I just want you guys to listen and enjoy.
And thank you so much for doing so.
Yeah, and thank you so much for listening to this one. This has been David.
And Donna.
Stay creative.